Hello, good evening. Welcome to the new show. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you've not been here before, welcome anyway. Thanks for tuning in and giving us a chance. This is Shooting the Shit, a Tottenham talk show with me, Leader Dorset Spur. I am joined by my regulars, Mason and Alex. I don't know why he's got Shiver Me R, but there you go. He is known as Sweary Alex. What a week!
Don't know what you mate. Yeah, what a week,
what
mate.
A week.
What a week.
If you haven't been here before, please feel free to comment in the chat. Chuck your feelings in there, your questions. Get it off your chest. This is like a bit of therapy for us poor, long-suffering Spurs fans. And what a week it's been! What a week it's been. Alex, let's just go for it, mate. Let's just go for it. How are you feeling at the moment following this week's results?
Deflated, confused, annoyed, not surprised. Yeah, the little voice in the background was the missus then. Yes. Dumbfounded. I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. It just goes on and on and on. I'm afraid. I mean, we talking about it later on. I mean, it just needs a complete shake-up again. Yeah. But then we've got players coming off of injury, and maybe it's going to change the latter part of the season. But it's just disappointing, mate. Disappointing.
I think you're right. It doesn't really matter what expression you use. I think we've probably been through all of them over the course of this week. Mason, what about you? How are you feeling? How are you feeling at this moment in time? You're talking on mute though, so
he's on mute. There you go.
You need to put the microphone on, otherwise we can't hear you.
He's had the mute button.
He's had a long day, and no doubt doing nothing. Go on.
Kind of sums it up, really.
Liverpool game was shit. Villa game we looked better, but obviously conceding the first minute doesn't help at all. Don't know what's happened to Son. Any day of the week, you'd put your house that he scores that usually. But yeah, the only thing I can talk about is obviously positive is the Brentford game. Go in there and go ahead winning away. But that's it really.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. I did a reaction video yesterday, and to be honest with you, it's just a rambling mess of feelings. Because I'll be honest, I am totally lost and confused about where we actually go from here. I'm just totally bemused as to what the answer is. The good news is though, there is some good news. Because following those two losses, I've had a couple of emails from the club. So all on the positive. Beyonce is adding some new dates to her tour at White Hart Lane. I mean, how excited are you? How excited are you about that, Alex?
Oh fuck! Oh mate! Good game ticket now.
It kind of makes up for it all, don't it? It kind of makes up for it all that some woman who allegedly makes music is coming and spending some time on the in the stadium. I think that's a video, but not. But
it also just says a lot about the club where it is at the moment. Like we said before, he should just go to the entertainment side, Levy. Go and do that. Get someone in to do the football side. You've got two businesses, and just keep them separate. Who gives a flying fuck who's going there to sing at the Tottenham Stadium? It's meant to be a football stadium, not an entertainment fucking centre.
The thing that's really annoying about it, right?
You ain't got a ticket. Yeah, go on.
No, to be honest with you, I know I'm being facetious about it, and I get it, right? That's going to bring in a lot of money. It gets the name of the stadium out there. It kind of shouts, for Americans and that know all about this Beyonce, they'll go, she's playing where? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Where's that? Oh, it's in Tottenham. What's that about? Oh, it's a football team. So maybe from a PR point of view, it all makes sense. But when you're losing games left, right, and centre, and you're
We ain't
being knocked
interested,
out
eh?
of cups and stuff like that. As a Tottenham fan, it's the last email. It's not the emails I want. It's not the
You know,
emails I want.
exactly.
And
And are they taking the piss out of us, thinking we're going to lap it up? We're just going to buy a ticket and support the Tottenham as a whole to go and watch
yeah,
her or any other band or go to the karting or where? No, they're completely missing the fact that it's a football club, and the majority of people that go to that place are football fans that have followed the club for a long time.
I
It
mean,
doesn't make any sense to me.
to
It's
be honest
taking
with
the
you, I think
piss.
in terms of the emails and promotions and stuff, I almost feel like they ought to have two separate ones. One for
Yeah,
you, if you're just interested in the football. Here's your
here's
app.
your bit.
Here's your email. Here's the stuff that you were talking about. If you're interested in what's going on in the stadium outside of football and you want to subscribe to that, there you go. You have that one. Because on top of that, I mean, Beyonce coming to the stadium is not the only good news. It's not the only good news because apparently there's another guy called Kendrick Lamar and he's coming as well. Mason,
Oh,
talk to me about Kendrick Lamar because you're the man. You know, you're a youngster. You've got it. Come on, tell me.
Uh,
Why should I be excited?
it's got the finger on a pulse.
you shouldn't be excited. Just a
Well,
chance to go see him. But
because we're old.
exactly, it's just a different generation, isn't it? If someone from
Exactly.
if it's someone from a few years ago that like top, like if Oasis went to Tottenham Hotspur and it weren't as big as that, that'd be all over getting tickets. That's just a generation thing.
What? No, no. But don't you not think again, though, Mason? You know, it might be a generational thing, but it's not. And I know everyone has to move with the times, and I know they've got to get money in.
Yeah, no,
So
football
obviously,
comes first. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just
yeah.
saying Kendrick's going, and I think he's my top artist. I think so. Get to go see him, but not that I chat a lot of shit about it because it brings people to the stadium that shouldn't. But then when there's someone going, I kind of change my mind that I like. But
It's been
I do
called
get it.
two-faced, isn't it? I don't know.
It doesn't. No, it does make sense, don't it? I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, like I said, I'm being facetious about it. But the only reason why I'm being facetious about it is because this is the only thing we're getting, right? This is the only thing we're getting about the football, about from our football club after such a disappointing, lackluster situation where we're getting our asses handed to us every week. And yet, the first three emails I've got, one's about Beyonce, couldn't give a monkey's. One's about Kendrick Lamar, who I've never heard of. And the other one is that I can get 20% off the home kit. Why would I want to buy a home kit? Why, you know, like
It's
it's
just all.
just
It's
like
just all.
read the room for God's
Yeah.
sake. Yeah, you know, I'm just so fed up with it. It's just like everything that's going wrong. It just adds more and more and more and more to it, don't it?
Do you think they think that we're some sort of, I mean, a cash cow as such? You know,
Yeah.
don't matter what we do, people will still buy it.
Yeah,
You know,
I think look, they know we're addicts, right? We're Tottenham addicts. We want the football, so we'll buy anything that's got a Tottenham badge on it. Not us personally.
I don't know. My wardrobe is full of it.
Maybe we're part of the problem, but you know, at the same time, you know, they've got to do all this other stuff that kind of brings it in. And I've said from the beginning, right, I'm not against it. I'm not against the idea of having all this other stuff coming in and going on in the stadium that's not being used. If it brings in money that's for the betterment of the football team. And I'm talking about the men's football team because that's what I support. I'm not interested in anything else. And maybe it's just me being a grumpy old fart that kind of creates that scenario. But yeah, I've been pretty disappointed with the communications that's come out of the club since we've been kind of
It's like it doesn't matter.
pushed out of these competitions and left us with just one to really work for.
It's like it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Football is the second. Is second now. That's it. Football is just now. I mean, you know, again, I'm always moaning about where I sit with all the tourists and all that. It's more of an exhibition game now. It's like people come to watch Son. It's like going to a zoo. You know, you're going to the zoo to look at the lion. You know,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't feel like you're going there to support Tottenham Hotspur. And I think it's only going to get worse. They've got to keep they've got to keep it a separate entity on this entertainment like that's going on. Someone's got to oversee just the football aspect of Tottenham Hotspur, and then
They've
someone
got to
else has
put
got.
it. They've got to put it. They've got to put it front and centre. That's
They
my
got,
issue,
they've
right?
got, yeah, they've got to put
Football
it in
should be front
content.
and centre of
Yeah.
everything else. Everything else should be on the peripheries and stuff that's around. It shouldn't be the be all and end all. And it just feels like that's the case at the minute.
Everything else should be bolted on to the football, but it seems like it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Tottenham, like the football teams now bolted onto concerts, the F1, the NFL, where it should be football and then everything else below,
Supporting.
So, yeah, it just doesn't, to us, it doesn't make sense. Levy don't care, mate. None of them care. It's a different world. They're not care about what they don't care. We turn up and he goes, "Thank you very much. Happy days, £1 million on the beer again."
Yeah.
They're not bothered.
So on that positive points that we just made there, I got it off my chest. I'm glad I got it off my chest.
What's his kids eat free half term at the go-kart?
But I did want to talk about the football and that side of things. So Mason, let me start with you because you kind of took the brunt of that, being a Kendrick Lamar fan. So now we're out of 2 cups. Do you think that is actually going to help us in terms of the Europa League? Do you think that's a positive?
Help is a different word to describe it. I'd say we'd be more energized going into a game, but even then, you could be energized, but if you've got half a squad, it's still shit. So it depending on our players coming back. If all our players come back, then yeah, it would help because there's less games, more rotation. But if it's less games, same squad, the same 12 players, then no. So we had apparently loads of players come back today. So give it maybe 2 weeks, if we've got 3/4 of the squad back, then maybe we could say, yeah, no, it's going to help us. It's going to help us. But right now, no. I mean, Ange set himself up from the start of the season, saying he always wins stuff in his second year, and he's out of 3 competitions because we ain't winning the league. We ain't winning. Obviously, we're at the FA Cup, we're at the Carabao Cup, and now we've got Europa League. So he's proper set himself up. So it's either he puts all his eggs in one basket and he cracks on, which now has to be the focus because he physically can't choose anything else other than avoiding relegation, and go from there. But I wouldn't say help.
Do you think though? I lost the thread of what I was gonna say then.
It's too much going on, Lee. That's what it is.
Yeah, my mind's just whirring. Honestly, I'm just all over the place. But you mentioned in there about Ange saying he always wins things in his second season and he's kind of set himself up for a fall, right? But when you look back at that and that conversation, to a certain extent, I think that's maybe been kind of taken out of context because he was actually stating a fact, right?
Oh, he was
stating a fact. I always win something in my second season. Now, he's not saying he wasn't saying he was going to win it, although that's what we've taken it from it. But he did say, no, let me rephrase. I always win something in my second season because he always has, right? So it kind of brings me on to my next point that he's called out a lot of media bias. And I read an interesting article today, actually, about the difference between how Ange is perceived with all these injuries and him calling out the injuries and how Eddie Howe was perceived calling it out last season with Newcastle and how Ange has been treated by the media as opposed to how Eddie Howe's been treated. Do you think there's any kind of media conspiracy? Not conspiracy, but do you think the media are being a bit unfair to him? Do you think he's getting the shit end of the stick?
There always is when there's a bit of like a downtime at Tottenham. There's always so like, even when we were doing shit, there was always links to Kane leaving. At the time, it would be Kane to leave in January, like because we'd have a shit start to the season, or it would be Son going to Madrid and shit like that. It's every year. There's always a bit of media bias trying to stir the pot, as you will. But this year is very much, you can tell with Ange because people don't remember this. United had a really bad injury crisis last year with Ten Hag in his first season, and that was spoke about fondly. Oh, he's rebuilding United. It's what comes with the job and stuff like that. Then obviously the next year was Eddie Howe, which is what you said, and everyone said, "Oh no, he's rebuilding the squad. He got him to the Champions League. Like, give him a bit of praise." When Ange has 5 18-year-olds starting every week, half a bench, 4 under-21s on that bench, and every one of his signings out, and his head's been called. I really don't understand. There's always every single time we're going on a downward spiral, there's always a bit of controversy. Like as of recent, it's every year is Romero's playing for Argentina, he doesn't want to play for Tottenham. That might not be the case. I mean, a lot of people think that might not be the case. It's because we're on a shit decline at the moment. That's what the media is going to run away with, because obviously controversy gets views. So
yeah, it's all about clicks. Alex, I just wanted to touch on this. I was keeping this theme about the media and stuff. Having watched the game on at the weekend and the one on Thursday, I've got to be honest with you, it was proper getting my back up listening to Jamie Carragher and who's the other bloke, Redknapp. Like I've got to be honest with you, there's got to be a level surely of professionalism in terms of how they talk about clubs and managers and players and stuff like that. I mean, I get it. Like we're a fan channel, right? So we're invested in it. They're supposed to be professionals, but I felt that their kind of analytical approach and stuff was basically bordering on bullying to a certain extent. What was I was getting proper upset about, proper annoyed about it.
Well, I didn't see on the Liverpool game because we were there, but I heard about it, and that Carragher, he should just stick to spitting at kids because he's just a fucking scummy scouser. Do you know what I mean? He's got a mouth full of flob 24/7. Can't stand him. Jamie Redknapp, I don't know who upset him at Tottenham. Dave, no one likes Tottenham. We're the Millwall of the Premiership. Nobody likes us. We don't care. But they should. I hate it. I hate the commentary. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're just taking it to heart." The commentary is we ain't even got to kick a ball, and they're slagging us off. We could have won 6-2 or whatever the week before, and they were talking about the game before where we probably lost. Everything's down on Tottenham. But as for those two and the other one, who's the other scouser? The other dickhead. They just don't like Tottenham, mate. They just and it's if they can put us down, they will. But when it comes to games of Liverpool, or Man United, mate, it's non-stop praise.
But what annoys me is the Carragher comment of when did Tottenham surprise her? Ange has done Liverpool over twice now, and we were written off before the game then. City we batter every year. United we usually get a result against. You can talk about Europe or whatever as well when we get to the semi-finals or the quarters or whatever, and then we come up against someone who we shouldn't win. And we go, well, there you go. They never surprise you. Well,
they just
we surprised him in the first leg when he said we were going to get battered with Archie Gray at centre-back. We surprised him then, though. He just.
I think we surprised him at Brentford as well. Didn't he say that we were going to concede?
When did they surprise you?
Yeah. And who's the other one off of TalkSport? What's his name? Ali McCoist. I mean, he's another. I mean, he's got an irritating accent.
Jamie O'Hara does my head in as well sometimes.
Oh yeah, because no one likes Tottenham.
Rob put it in the chat here that Jamie O'Hara is the worst of the bunch. But Jamie O'Hara is supposed to be a Spurs fan, right? He's a Spurs boy, supposed to be a Spurs fan, all of it. But he's just doing the clickbait stuff at the talk show.
Yeah, he's just trying to wind up everyone all the time. But what annoys me the most over the last few months is that we've had a whole team out of injury, more or less, and then you get the scum saying they've got 2 players down, and everyone's rallied round them. Oh, well, they're not playing very well because Saka's out and that. We've had a whole team out, and yet we're at a battle. We're at to play, like Ange said the other day, playing like midweek, playing on a Sunday, midweek, playing on a Sunday. When we haven't got a solid team, no one's given us any support or credibility on what that team's done with the injuries that we've had, and that's what really pisses me off. So, but I
think this is half of my trouble, right? Is like trying to look at things objectively. I'm really trying to be objective about it, and trying to look at it like. So I listen to what Ange says, right, and to a certain extent, I take on board what he says, and I think he talks. Generally speaking, I think he talks fairly well and with a lot of sense, and points out a lot of facts. But at the same time of that, he don't help himself. And I know we've talked about this before about the fact that he's talking about a lack of rotation, but then he's got players that he could have rotated with earlier on in the season, which he didn't. And you think to yourself, well, you're not helping yourself there, are you? Because, you know, some of these players that you've had to chuck in, these youngsters, have actually been your better players. So had you used your better players when you had the opportunity, maybe some of those injuries wouldn't have happened. Maybe you could have had a bit of rotation. So I'm on a real difficult situation with Ange because I want him to do well. I want him to succeed. You know, especially now with the press on him and with people like Carragher and Redknapp and all those idiots who should know better. They should be more professional in their approach. They're not a fan channel. That's not what their job is. Their job is to give proper analysis of what's going on. And like he said to a reporter the other day, and I do understand why he gets the because if someone kept asking me the same fucking question time after time after time, how many different ways has he got to answer that question before they go, yeah, you're right. You're right, Ange. And I'll take it on. So that's what it really gets. So it does. It really hurts me, trying to decide: am I Ange in or am I Ange out? Like I'm flip flopping all over the place. Go on, Mason. You want to say?
No, it's just literally copying on what you said. By the way, he said he had the chance to rotate. Yeah, he did. Fair enough. Like 100%. He could have rotated and he should have rotated. He'd done it the odd few times, like when Odebear started at Newcastle away and what was it? Everton at home, first 2 games of the season. Not that, fair enough. Okay, he done a bit of rotation there, rested Son, rested Solanke, whatever. But what annoys me as well is that he would have rotated the defence, but he didn't get backed in terms of that position. We went into the summer all this year, so at the start of the year, we want a centre half, we want a backup keeper, and we want a backup left back and right back, maybe a midfielder. We come out with 2 wingers, and I can't even remember. I don't think we signed a defender, did we? We just signed Archie Gray. We signed Archie Gray. We are so lucky that Spencer's got back into form and he's actually up there for starting. Then because Levy didn't bloody sign a left-sided centre back, because we signed Dragutin to be the Romero backup last year, the season transfer window before. Gone into this transfer window at the start of the season, looking for a left-sided centre half. Didn't get one. We have Ben Davies and Udigi though, or Udoji, but he can't rotate Van der Ven because we need a like for like from him, and we don't. So I think
there's no player like him though, is there? Let's be honest. There's no player like him that we can
there's no player like him. You can definitely get someone who can. It's like when people I've got a few Liverpool mates. It's like, oh well, who's going to replace Salah? It's like, you're not going to replace Salah. Same with us. Like when we sold Kane, who's going to replace Kane? No, you can't replace Kane.
No, you can't.
You're just gonna have to get someone to back him up.
So this is a good point here though. Just on that that you're making. Sorry, Alex.
No, just like Rob says, it's nice to see you in a nice colour, Lee. That's all. Just made me grin.
Yeah, no, I did see that. And Rob, that's for you, son. That's for you. I've got something in my pocket for you. But he said, but it says that Spencer's been our best player, and that for me is really telling, right? Is because he had that opportunity to utilise him, and we've seen him play left back, right back, and centre back. And he's right-footed, but he's been great. But he's been thrown in, and what my point is. He's not helping himself by not doing that level of rotation that he could do, and that really pisses me off. Alex, let me come back to you because I want to pick up on this, right? So we're now talking about injuries coming to an end finally, right? So I think they're talking about the ones that I've heard about are Udogi, Maddison, and the Vicario. Being the ones that are most likely to be coming back. I think even Odebear, I think, has kind of been mentioned as well.
And Werner and Johnson.
I think Johnson, they said potentially. Werner, well, you know my feelings on Werner. He can stay out for the whole season, as far as I'm concerned. Although I get the idea that he can rotate, right? But with these players coming back now, right, or the potential of these players coming back now, how confident are you, Alex, that's going to make a difference and improve our performances? Do you, out of all of them players coming back, who are you excited about having back and feeling is going to make the difference?
Mm, well, none of them, to be honest with you. No, I like to see Vicario back in. I think he was. I like him. I like Vicario. Um, I like Madison. I'm excited to see him back, but I wish he'd just keep him in
Depends
the
on which
team.
Madison you get, though, right? Depends on which
Well,
one.
yeah, true, very true. But I think he's got to give him more game time. He can't keep just
You can't be
playing him
benching him.
up. You what? Sorry.
Can't be benching him. He benched him
Yeah,
building up
can't
to
be
his
benched.
injury. He was benching him every game.
Out of all the players on the pitch, he's probably the only one that is fired up. And we'll chase it and we'll argue.
Yeah, but that Son chance on the weekend, the one he missed. People gave Brennan Johnson shit for scoring that every week. So that's what I'm saying. He'd score that every week, but at least he scored them. Well, we could have left at that point in the game if Brennan Johnson was fit. I mean, if you aren't a bollocks to be your uncle, but obviously if Brennan Johnson was there, if Brennan Johnson was there, he probably would have put that away. Because that's what he does. I think all of his goals this season, bar 2, have been the exact same chance Son had. The exact same.
I mean, if they all come back, if they all came back, like Van der Ven, everyone, Vicario, Madison, the whole team, they all come back, then you could probably look at that team and go, do you know what? Here we go. Let's see what happens. Until they're all back and we play a full team, I'm just very dubious about what they can do as a team, because it's probably changing the dynamics yet again.
See, to me, I do think that if you add every single player, right? So if you've got every single player that's on our injured list in that squad, along with players like Archie Gray, Spence, Bergvall, Kinski, Danso, Tell, I know we'll come on and talk about it. If you've got all of them, it does feel like you are building something and you're getting something, right? You've got some players in there that are experienced and decent players. And then you've got lots of really exciting youth coming through. But you've got to be able to move them around and kind of put them in when you need to and rotate them and give them a break when you need to. And we just haven't had that situation. And I think, for me, that's probably what's helping Ange more than anything, is the fact that he has been hit so badly for such a long period. And I know we weren't great before we had these players out, right? And that's where he gets the criticism from as well. But that's the start of the season. You've got to get into your rhythm. And like I say, he wasn't rotating. When a player wasn't playing well, he wasn't taking them off and bringing someone else in who could have done better. And that's the bit that frustrates me. The one thing I did want to come back on for you, Mason, is when you said about Son burying that chance. He did bury a chance exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Team over.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, to be fair, he did.
But that's leading on to that, though.
What a goal that was,
But leading on to that, I mean, the way we do, we just don't shoot. I mean, Liverpool was shooting at every opportunity they had. We just don't shoot. Son should have buried that. Why did he stop and pass?
Yeah, even against Villa, weren't it? Everyone was just. Everyone, we all know the exact chance we're about. Everyone's looking at it. It's going, Son's going to have a crack here. No, made the extra pass. Look, I said it last week. The Dean's theory about how Ange is training individuality out of players. Son's our 5th top goal scorer of all time. Why doesn't he shoot there? He hasn't been doing that for a while. And it's ever since the start of the season, Son just hasn't been taking his chances at all. But
none of them are shooting from 8 yards out. None of them. Everyone wants to pass the ball. Nobody wants. It's just pathetic. If that was my girls won 6-2 the weekend, by the way, and if I was in charge of them, mate, they'd be getting a bollocking for not taking a chance.
But do you think that's what it's all about? But is that not just confidence? Like a confident a player who's scoring for fun, like Son was when he won the Golden Boot, right? He would have had the fact that they're playing so poorly and they haven't got ideas. They're trying to overdo it. They're making the game more
do you know what,
difficult than it should be. More complicated, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Lee, I think that Postecoglou, where he just stands there and just looks and doesn't get excited about nothing. It's like he's waiting. He's got a face like he's just missed his bus and he's waiting for the other one. It's for an hour late, There's no charisma about him on the pitch. There's no charisma when he gives an interview. you know, and that might be just him, but that will rub off on the players. And you know, if he's showing no excitement on the sideline, you know, I should imagine he doesn't show any excitement about the team in the training. It will rub off on the players. If his attitude's rubbing off on the players, we're doomed. So
I think right with some of the stuff that he says, he's trying to protect the players. He's trying to build up
yeah,
the fact and create that when we're under. Hold on, let me finish. He's
sorry, darling. Sorry, babe. Go on.
He's trying to create that them and us scenario to try to, you know, you're under siege, like trying to create that thing by protecting them, by saying, you know, what these players have done over this period is, you know, he's fantastic and they're young.
Oh, the work rate, yeah.
He's kind of making excuses for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I do think that's probably the right thing to do. He shouldn't be sitting there going, "Fucking son's done, mate. We need to get rid of him because he's, you know, he shouldn't be doing that, should he? He should be. Should be trying to say that the players, you know, are doing as much as they can. No,
but we are talking about professional footballers that, you know, from the year whatever they started playing, whatever they started playing, they have got that mentality of winning. Yeah, that's what they've. And so when we're saying, oh, lack of confidence, it should that shouldn't come into play. They're that highly tuned and that highly motivated that they should be, you know, on it all the time. And I just think, I mean, just watching the Liverpool game now, Son's in the area, all right, it bounces off the post sort of thing, but at a very tight angle. But he's got, I would assume that he's a very confident person, and they all should be, because everyone we're playing against love playing Tottenham, and they love it when we're having a bit of a lull because they think we can beat them. Whatever, no matter what anyone says, when people play at Tottenham, mate, it's their World Cup, and if they could turn us over, then that's them. That's a very highlight of their season, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But our players have got to be. If he's being dull, then they're going to be dull. The mentality will filter through. You need someone with a bit of passion that's going to be just as excited as, you know, us as he will be on the sideline.
Yeah,
but we don't know, do we? So
I get frustrated with him as well, and I know we've talked about it. I want to pick up on this point because I keep hearing it. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of guys. There's some really good shows out there you can kind of listen to and listen to what people say and their opinions and stuff, and it kind of puts it in your mind. But there's obviously lots of talk about all the injuries that we've got and the fact that we are. I think I don't know. It might have been Brad who told me. I think we're 25% more injuries than anybody else. I think Brad put it in a WhatsApp.
Probably.
But the lots of talk is how we play and how we train, right? And I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I stand by it to a certain extent. I cannot believe that an organisation as big as Tottenham Hotspur, a professional football club that has sports scientists, doctors, medical staff, all the analytics, we've got the best training facilities in the world, are putting that all to one side and letting Ange come out of his little black book and saying, right, I want them to do this and I want them to do that. And all of a sudden that creates all these injuries because he's running them too hard. Because we've done this. We did this with Conte. We did it. Pochettino used to have 2 training sessions a day and all that kind of stuff. I can't honestly believe that just the way we train is causing all these hamstrings. And the other thing, sorry, just to finish off, the other thing is I don't also see all this high press, continuous work rate that everyone says is killing our players. So do you believe that this training and this football, the style that we're supposed to be playing, is what's causing all these injuries?
Ange addressed that on the weekend. He said if he had a squad that was his full squad, the players would be pressing a lot more. But they've been doing the same stuff week in week. The same 12 players been playing every week, twice a week. He says if he had a squad where he can rest the players, he'd be pressing like he used to, which is a good argument. But you can't stem that from tactics. Pressing's not the only thing about football. No. Pressing doesn't make three defenders focus Porro. That's why three attackers focus on Porro. Pressing doesn't allow Porro to be out of possession. Out of position every time they get a counter. That's pressing's a big part of football, but it's not the only part of football. But Ange did address that. He said how obviously he had a bigger squad, they would be pressing, but he can't risk playing high intensity football and then essentially being in a month's time having the under-21s being off starting team, which is a good point. But
doesn't this defeat the argument, right, that Ange can't change and he only knows one sort of football? Because we saw that at Brentford, right, where we were further back, and he's clearly changing his tactics based on the fact of what he said there, right? You can't get away from the fact that a lot of players are making really stupid mistakes. If you look at that first goal against Aston Villa, all of the midfield are all ball chasing in one position, leaving that midfield area that one player, I don't know who it was, stood there all on his Jack Jones. The ball comes to him, one pass, and they're away. The defenders can't get in there.
It's like grassroots football, isn't it? It's like kids running around the same ball.
But they were all kind of just running for the same thing. You know, you've got three central midfielders, and they're all out on the right. So, and that can't be. You can't tell me that Ange is telling them to do that, chase the ball, right? No. That's just them being reactive and desperate, in my view. It's like kids playing football. You know, Alex, because you teach football, right? All the kids want to chase the ball all the time. They don't. Yeah. They don't think I'll get into a position where someone can pass it to me, because they ain't going to pass it to you. They're going to run the length of the pitch, right? Well, and try and score on their own. So that's just desperation, isn't it?
Saying that, I mean, I've taught the girls about passing back and finding space, and at the weekend they did that, and we won 6-2. You know, so the chasing of the football, when you see it, professional footballers doing it, you think, what are you doing? But one thing I was going to say. Yeah, one thing I was going to say though, when you go and watch them warm up before the game, would you call that a warm up? Because I wouldn't. I mean, if you're not warming up, I mean, they come on the pitch, they play football for 20 minutes, don't they? Sort of thing, you know. Yeah. They're running around a bit, but it's not really a warm up, is it? You know. So I mean, injuries could come from that, where they're not warming up properly. Or not warming down properly, but mainly warming up. You watch them next time you go. They do run around, but half the time they're just talking to each other, doing a little bit of a jig, and then go back down the tunnel. So maybe the preparation's wrong before the game, because it's causing injuries.
If you look at how
you say,
go on, sorry.
So like you say, we've got all these doctors and nurses and facilities and ice pools and food and nutritionists, and they should not be breaking.
No,
but it takes, if you don't, it's like anything else, isn't it? With regards to whatever sport it is, if you're not warming up properly, then you're not really prepared to play the game. But you watch when they warm up at the ground. I wouldn't call that a warm up, mate. No way.
Yeah, I mean, I say we watched Liverpool, and we watched how Liverpool played. They pressed high. They hunted down in packs. They moved it all quickly. They played out from the back. All the stuff that we
should be doing. Yeah.
And yet, you know, we can't get it right, and that's being blamed for our injury crisis. And I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. So listen, where do you think we go from here?
To the Championship.
That's a real negative comment there. Mason, I wasn't expecting that from you, to be honest with you. But I mean, in all seriousness, do you think, you know, I know we've talked about it, right? We're too good to go down, right? We've got, you know, the players got to be better than that.
Yeah, but you say that, though, we aren't going to go down. I don't think there is a Spurs fan that believes that, unless, I don't know, unless you're very, very negative. But it's the fact that the teams below us, we've lost to 5 of them. The only ones we haven't lost to is Southampton. We should be beating Palace. We should be beating Leicester. Should be beating Everton. Should be beating Wolves. Be true.
But why aren't we then, Mason?
And we should be beating Ipswich. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. You can say all injuries, but you should be beating those teams. Like you don't. Our players are good enough to beat them. Put it that way.
Yeah. But again, it's like what you said and what Dean said. You know, if they've been told they can't play that way, then we are going to lose because there is no creativity and there is no spark. I mean, what footballer doesn't want to score from 6 yards, 8 yards out? What footballer doesn't want to take a shot? You know, what kind of a footballer doesn't look around?
Just picking up on that point, right, about the creativity, because I have put it down in my notes of things I kind of wanted to pick up on, right? We haven't got Maddison. Maddison's our kind of attacking midfielder, the one with the creativity who can do. Because at the moment, all we're doing is we're putting it out wide and trying to cross it in without even crossing it. And yet, when
we're so predictable.
When you see us cross a ball, and when we actually cross a ball, when Porro puts a ball in or Kulu puts a ball in, you see something happen. But the one thing that I've kind of been calling out for a while is how poor Bentancur and Basuma both appear to be. I don't know whether it's just me seeing that or whether everybody else is seeing that. Because for me, Bentancur is a shadow of the player that we had before he went out injured. And Basuma is so hit and miss. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to remember, they're not. I mean, I don't want to keep saying it, but they're not his players. He's dealing with the Conte scraps. He wanted Gallagher. He wanted 2 other DMs that he was looking at, but he didn't get them. He didn't get them.
But he ain't going to get Gallagher, is he? Let's be honest with you. There's no way Gallagher, as a Chelsea captain, is going to want to sign for Tottenham.
I don't think we put an offer in the end, but that's what I'm saying. But either way, he wanted a midfielder. Did we get a midfielder other than Bergveld that we got in January? I mean, we got Gray. We got Gray, and that's brilliant. But he hasn't played that role. Yeah, he can't play that role. But even then, we let Højbjerg go. So therefore, surely you go, let's get another experienced midfielder in instead of a youngster. But no, we got a youngster, which is fair. He's for the future. I carry on. But that shouldn't be. You should be getting. If you're getting a youngster, you still get an experienced player to fill the hole.
Because Bergveld and Gray, they didn't come in to be starters for this team.
No, they didn't. They come in with prospects.
And I know it takes time to rebuild a squad. And and I don't think there's any mistake about it. We are going through a massive rebuild. And some of the rebuild that we've already had are probably not good enough for where we want to be.
Yeah, that is a rebuild.
There's a difference between a rebuild and a restoration, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's.
Well, this is like a new build, mate. This is like digging out new foundations and putting the groundwork in. I mean, at the moment, it feels like we're just putting the fucking sewage pipes in. That's what it feels like.
You got to remember, like the players that Ange had gone out and asked for, other than bar like our other best players like Kulusevski, Romero, Porro, like players who we all knew would be all right. Even Udigi, being how young he was, quite a few people said he'd adapt. But it's always the positions Ange wanted in the summer. Didn't get it. Just got a bunch of youngsters and a few. And so, to be fair, we got Solanke. We want the striker, we want the defender, we want the midfielder.
Then we broke him.
Yeah, and then we got Solanke and broke him. But then we didn't get our midfielder. We didn't get our press-resistant midfielder, which is what Gallagher. He loved Gallagher. I mean, I didn't think we'd get him anyway, but he wanted Gallagher, and he was there. He was there for the taking. Chelsea didn't mind telling him. Well, either way, he wanted Gallagher, and then he wanted the left-sided centre back, and 2 of the 3 have come to bite us back in the arse. So yeah. I don't know what to say.
I guess it's about how the longer term vision of who you get and what you can get. I did watch the Lang interview that he did about the January transfer window, and he said in his interview there that we were ready to go and sign players on the 1st of January, but it took right until the last day to actually get them over the line for whatever reason, right? So, and I don't. I'm sure the guy's not just blatantly telling lies, right? I'm sure it's a lot more difficult than we like to think it is. But
I think we're the only club in the world with a 3-day transfer window, if I'm being honest. I think we're the only club in the world that gets told the first 27 days, no, you can't, no business. Last 3 days on your bike. I mean, it's every year. It's every year. We have to wait.
So you think he's talking bollocks? You think he's lying?
I think he's for the shit. I think he's been sitting on his arse for the past 4 weeks. I think he's done absolutely, because you got to think all the media use the buzzwords. We're monitoring, has interest, concrete interest, stuff like that. Stuff that really gets on my nerves. And it's like, it took us, the last 3 days of the window to actually make us. I mean, we've got Kinski, but we needed Kinski. Like that was, we cannot complete the rest of the season if we do not have a decent backup because Forster was out. Don't get me wrong, Brandon Austin's good. I don't think he's good enough to be here for a top 6 side, but he would have filled an hole. But again, we needed a new keeper. But I just see a lack of desperation or a lack of need
desperation.
It would be interesting to. I'd really love to be in the conversations, right, when they're talking about the players that they want, right? Because let's talk about, right. So Kevin Danso has come in, right, straight into the team against Liverpool, against Villa. What have you made of him?
I think he's got a mistake in him, surely, of course, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's had a good showing. Like against Liverpool, he was by far not the worst player on the pitch. He had a good debut, and he was one of the few people who could leave that game and go, "I've had a good game." Yeah. Same against Villa. Same again. But it's what I don't understand is he supposed to be?
So that's my question. Sorry, Mason. Just to cut. That's my question. Right? Is everyone's saying we buy shit players and this, that, and the other, but I don't think Kevin Danso is a bad player. I think he's done quite well for the first couple of games that he's come in. He looks the right sort of player. Seeing him, his ball carrying, seems to be able to put a ball in and so on. Seems fairly quick on his feet as well. So the point I'm making is, do we think that he's a desperation buy, or was he one of the players that we were monitoring based on this data-driven selection process?
I think it's been a last few days signing because we wanted Tomori before him. We wanted so many other players before. Like the whole Tomori saga only lasted about 2 days, to be fair. But even then, the last 2 days.
But don't they draw up a list of players and they're trying to get them all, trying to see who's the closest or whatever?
Yeah, but they don't start work in January. That's their job to do it throughout the entire year. So the fact they didn't have players drawn up before the transfer window annoyed me because you can see City went into the window first day. Bosh, transfer. They needed players. Week later, another one. Week later, another one. They got players in because that's what the department's doing. They're sitting there going, "Oh, okay, we need these players in. We'll get them in."
But they're also able to go in there and go.
Take
my money regardless, right?
Of course, but no. My point is,
time will tell whether those players are the right players for them.
Yeah, I'm not saying about the players they bring in about the money. I'm saying the point is that they had targets before the window. We didn't. We had targets 3 weeks in after Lamb just like shit. If I don't do my job, I'm going to get sacked. I don't know. I didn't hear anything other than the buzzwords going around about players I've never heard of. And then, obviously, to be fair, I've never heard of Danzo. Well, I have a little bit. He played for Southampton. I didn't know a lot about Danzo. But it's just annoying because most clubs will go into a transfer window and say, right, these are our targets. This is what we need to improve on. Not us. We wait till the last 3 days and we go, right, we need them now. But we needed about the entire start of January.
But is that just your opinion, and driven by what lots of people say, as opposed to the reality of what's going on? That's, I guess, is my thing, right? Because we really don't know.
No, you'll never know.
Whether what. Honestly, I cannot believe that someone being paid as much as they're being paid, this whole recruitment team, are allowed to sit around and do sweet Fanny Adams for a majority of the time and get it in for that. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but he done it in the summer as well.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just can't believe that that's the reality.
He done it in the summer as well. We got Solanke 5 days before we played Leicester, the first game of the season. We got Odebear a week before. He's always. I don't know if he's looking for a cheap bargain, or if he's just taking his time, or he's sat on his arse in his flat in London somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. But the past 2 windows he's been here, he has waited until the last week in the summer window last week, but his transfer window this one last 3 days. Because that Tell thing, we all thought, oh, bit of business. Tell. Nothing happened until a couple of days before the window closed.
Well, and obviously, don't forget a few players refused to play with Tottenham.
Yeah, Tomori, as I'm saying. Tomori. And that was 2 days before the window closed.
But that kind of comes back to my point, right, about with this data-driven approach, you've got certain players and you go, right, so these players are the right players for us. This is the data for them. Let's talk to their agent. Let's talk to the club. Let's talk to the player to find out how open they are to a move to Tottenham. How much is it going to cost and all the rest of it? You can't just go in and go, well, I mean, you can. If you're Man City, you could go and go, we want this player from you and we're prepared to give you whatever you want for him.
Yeah, but talking to players doesn't open on January 1st. You can talk to them whenever.
Point, but this guy, this Johan Langer, is saying that they were ready to go from the 1st of January to make those signings. So they must have been talking to agents and so on before that. You can't tell me that they're only employed for the month of January, and then they're not
that's
employed again until the summer. They must be working on these all year round.
That's what I'm saying. Though. Kinski was a panic buy. We needed a keeper, and we thought, oh, who's another youngster we could get on?
This is a guy that we were talking about having in the summer. I'm being controversial. I know I am. I know I'm being argumentative, right?
But Kinski,
they said, was a player that we were bringing in the summer anyway, and because of the injuries, we decided to see if we could get him earlier.
Right. Well, I didn't hear any links to Kinski in the summer. So, I mean, obviously it might have happened.
But then we never heard any links with Odebear. That happened without anyone knowing about it. Right?
Yeah.
The same with Gray. They all happen very, very, very quickly without all the fuss and all the links and stuff.
It's the same point, though. It's like a week. It's a week before we're meant to do anything. That's when the players come in. And their job doesn't start at the end. When the transfer window starts. He's employed all year round. So I don't know why he hasn't gone into a window. He might have said he's had his targets. There's no proof for that. There's no proof whatsoever.
Well, the only people that are judging him on that are the people that own the club, Scott Mann and all the rest of it. They're the people measuring him on that. Let me come on to Tell then, right? Because I'll put my hands up. I know nothing about this kid, right? I knew absolutely nothing. You Mason actually mentioned him before. On a previous podcast about Tell, and we may have the option of signing this kid. He's played. He came on as a sub, but he played his full debut against Villa. Scored a brilliant goal when he actually came as a centre forward. What have you made of him coming in?
What, Tell? I think he's been great. I mean, I say he's been great. It's been 2 games.
So is he a good signing? Is he a right sign? Bear in mind he's still only 19 as well.
I think it's an opportunistic signing. It's another kid that could be great who Levy could turn a profit on. I think it's an opportunistic signing, but he's one of the better ones because he wasn't. I mean, he is a prospect, but he was tearing up Germany only a year ago at 18. He was Bayern Munich's top goal scorer behind Harry Kane. Like he was week in, week out contributing to the team at 18 years old at the top flight of German football. In the Champions League, he was doing it. Pretty sure he scored against Madrid. Like he's a prospect, but he's not. He's young. There's still lots of years to come from him. But at the age of 18, he was showing what he can do. So I think it's an opportunistic signing. But he's definitely, when he played against Villa, I thought he was very exciting. I thought he was taking his man on. He looked effective. That's the word I use, effective. He looked effective against Liverpool. Bare nothing came out of it. But he looked one of the better players on the pitch, who is another player who can hold his head up after that game. And the same against Villa. Good finish. Very good finish. Very hard finish to pull off. That's the technical ability he's got.
Alex, what about you? What have you made of Tell? Do you think he's a good player? Are you excited about him joining us?
Well, I mean, we was at the Liverpool game. Yeah, like Mason said, it's only been 2 games, isn't it, sort of thing. But he seems to want to get involved. I'm with Mason. I concur with Mason.
I think it's interesting. It's interesting though, right, that it took Ange Postecoglou to talk to him to make him actually sign for the club.
Because Lang is useless. Lang is useless. It's his job. It's to talk to players and bring them over. But why is the manager getting involved? Ange has had to do it 3 times now. He convinced Solanke, convinced Maddison, and he's convinced Tell. Because all 3 didn't want to come to us. Maddison wanted to go down the road.
But again, what does that say? Well, what does that say about Ange? If the players are looking at him and saying, "Yeah, okay, I can get on board with your project," what is it that they're seeing that we're not seeing then as fans? Are we just looking at it with, they talk about rose-coloured glasses. Are we looking at it with fucking jet black glasses or something? Is it just that our hearts are so broken by all of this that we can't see the wood for the trees, and we've got to blame someone, and it has to be Ange because we know that Levy and so on's not bloody going anyway. As Rob says here, what can we do? Levy won't sell his money machine, blah, blah, blah. So is that the problem? Are all the fans just turning against him and picking out all these issues because we've got no one else to pick up on? Because, like I say, when you look at some of the players we signed, I think we've agreed, right? Tell looks a decent prospect.
Yeah.
Gray looks a decent prospect. Bergvall looks a decent prospect. Solanke has been really good.
Yeah.
Kinski looks like he could be a decent keeper. He kept us in the game against Villa, even though he made that mistake. He kept us in the game against Villa. So you look at these youngsters coming in. Spence, I know he's not an Ange player. We didn't bring him in or whatever. But these youngsters that we've kind of got, they're not shit players, are they?
No,
but we
they're
keep
not,
saying that we only buy shit players, but these ain't shit players, are they?
No, we're not. No, we're not. But I think a lot of the times we do get a bit lucky. Like Bentancur come as a package deal with Kulu. Like we wanted Kulusevski to play him on the wing. Ange wanted him in the summer. Everyone was calling for Kulusevski to be sold. I think Ange is obviously in his head. He's gone, let's play him in the middle for a few games, and he's the bollocks. So I think he's the bollocks. Spence, even Conte said that was a club signing. Conte said he didn't ask for him. That's why he didn't play. I mean, a lot of them can say, his attitude, but Conte didn't play him because he didn't want him. And he was better than Emerson Royale at the time. Like that's the point we're getting at. But when I talk about Langer as well, people forget he worked for the club before. He was our director before. He's the bloke who signed 8 players with the Bale money, and the only 2 players to come out of it was Ericsson and Lamella. He's the same bloke. I don't know why. I think there's another opportunity to get him back. I think Paratici's band's up in the summer. I think he comes back in and Langer's off. Because Paratici, when he came in, the players we got, the players we were linked to, and all the way he does business, he was a bit of a dodgy bloke, and he still is. He's serving his ban. But when he comes back, because I think he's still in he's a consultant now, isn't he? That's how it's a loophole.
Yeah,
he's
independent. Yeah.
So I think when he comes back, Lange or Langer, however you want to say, he's off. But he's the same bloke. He spent the Bale money, and it was shit spending. I think he's very much out his depth. I mean, he went to Villa. And even then, I think he got lucky with his signing to Villa.
Yeah. I do want to end on a couple of positive points.
Okay.
The one thing I've got to call out, and I know you guys was there at Liverpool, right? But how fantastic have the away fans been?
Oh yeah,
at Liverpool and at Villa, they were absolutely on the TV. It sounded absolutely fantastic, I have to say.
Anfield was unreal from the away end. Brilliant.
The stewards were nice as well, though, Mason, weren't they?
Oh,
they
mate,
were up for a crack, weren't they?
The scouts
except for
nice.
that doorman, went out to the pub. I went, can we come in? He went, no, we're full. I went, can I just pop in and have a pee, mate? He went, jog on, pal, jog on. I went, that's charming.
Bear in mind, he was driving, so we weren't even having a beer. You just want to go to the toilet.
6 hours there, 6.5 hours back. 4 in the morning.
The OAM was great. I never.
Yeah, that was good.
I recorded the when the Spurs go marching because I've always wanted to prove a point to my mates. You never walk alone is bollocks. It is not. You can hear the speakers. So I got it on my video. It was,
they did. They had it playing. They did have it playing. I think they even said that.
Everyone's whispering their shitty scarves in the air that they've bought outside the half and half scarves. It's nothing. They turned the speaker up, and even then they couldn't drown us out. I've got the video on my phone.
It was funny. It was a good day, though. It was a good day.
Why haven't you sent it to me? Why haven't you not sent that video to me?
Because it's 2 minutes long. It's 2 minutes long, and it won't send me.
I did tell him late, but we had a good day. We had a good drive up there. We parked in Goodison Park. You know,
I'll shorten the video down.
The stewards were really, really
friendly.
friendly.
10 minutes worth on WhatsApp. Sorry, Alex. You can send 10 minutes on WhatsApp, mate. Don't bullshit. Go on, carry on.
No. The stewards were really, really friendly at Anfield. Had a scouse pie. But they stuck us next to their fan zone, so they were hearing all their shitty songs and that. But it was a long drive back. But you know, it is what it is. Mason was shitting himself because we was walking through the park back to the car. But you know, it was a good day.
Those days are over, right? Walking through Stanley Park. I've got a t-shirt. I got a t-shirt, right? That my mate Ricky. He took this photo walking as all the fans walking through Stanley Park. I think it's something like 1986. The big group walking through Stanley Park, and they got it on a t-shirt. Those were the days where you didn't really want to have to walk through Stanley Park because it could be a bit, what do you call it? But I don't think it's like that now, is it?
Well, I had to hold Mason's hand because it was dark, you know. But when we got to the main road, he was all right. Isn't that right, Mason?
Yeah. I've seen a dodgy post online. So, is it real?
What's that?
He's got 43 likes for this photo. He's saying Van der Ven's out for the season, but I don't believe it.
I've seen that. I've seen a couple of those coming out. People talking about Van der Ven being out for a long time. I mean, that's the other thing that's really frustrating about these injuries is the fact that there's no real transparency about what's really going on. Ange keeps saying that these players are coming back. I mean, if you think that Maddison, and we did say it on the podcast, we were right. Maddison goes off because he's a bit sore, and you don't see him for 3 or 4 weeks. And it's like, how sore can you be? I think, didn't we say that I'm sore?
I'm checking LinkedIn.
Rubbish.
Checking LinkedIn, see if they're still hiring doctors, because that was on LinkedIn the other day. I got come up in job recommendation, Tottenham physio. I'm not joking.
I'll do it. It'd be funny. But no, big shout out to the old Dorset lot though on Sunday. There's loads of pictures. JJ put loads of pictures up, and that looked like a fun time. They enjoyed themselves.
The guys they travelled up to Villa Park, met up with Punjabi Spurs, and if I don't know if for anyone who's not seen or knows about Punjabi Spurs, these guys are from the Midlands, and when we was at Wembley, they used to put an event on at the Novotel, and they got all the supporters clubs together. It was a brilliant event. You could get a nice curry and all that before the game. It was really, really good, and those guys are a top supporters club. Really, really are good, and they've been great with South Dorset Spurs, as loads of the others have. The Yorkshire Spurs is another one, and they all try and help each other. They all try and help each other out with tickets and stuff. So it was good for them to get up together. And I think Ricky Randall was up with him as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there. Ricky was there. Sonia was there.
Sonia there as well.
Yeah, Alan was there. But let's give a big shout out for Mason though, because he's sorted out the Castle Point Spurs. So
I saw that as well. Well done, Mace.
Yeah.
So if anyone's watching this video and they're in and around the Essex area of, is it Castle Point?
Castle Point area.
Yeah. Reach out to Mason at RXD on Twitter and stuff, and let him know, and you can join up and be part of his new official supporters club. Well done, Mason.
Regime. He won't give me a posting. I don't know why. He doesn't want me involved. I can't see what the problem
I've asked him to be involved, but he told me not to get him involved with money.
He wants me to be the treasurer. Yeah, all right.
I wouldn't trust you. I would not trust you to be the treasurer.
Drinks on me, Lee. Quick.
That's all. Right, listen, we've just hit the hour. The one thing I just did want to finish off on, obviously no midweek game this week, so the players are getting a little bit of a rest, which is always good. After so long of not having that on a regular basis. But at the weekend, on Sunday, late kickoff, 8 then bloody 4:30 kickoffs on a Sunday, we have Man United. So, Mason, what are you saying is going to happen against Man United? What's your score prediction for that?
We're going to fucking batter them like we have the last 3 times. So, we lost 2 times, I should say. Beat them away, didn't we? 3-0. To be fair, that was with our full squad. But beat them 4-3 at home, put 4 past them, and they've been on a downward spiral since then. I don't think they will ever. I don't think they will come back till next season now when they get more players in. They're not in good ways. I think I'm gonna go for a 3-0 Spurs.
Ooh.
Not even going to concede.
No, Matthias Tell's going to bag 2 because he rejected United in the end, didn't he? He's going to bag 2. Mark Goldbridge is going to be crying on live TV. Can't wait.
Okay. Alex, what are you saying? Man United.
Well, it's going to be a good day. We're doing the stadium tour beforehand. Are you going, Lee? Are you going on Sunday?
Yes, I'm not going to the stadium tour though.
No. I've rebought you for Christmas. No, but definitely meet you either during or after the game anyway. So I don't know if we'll probably miss you in the beginning, but I reckon it'll be a 3-2 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I can't see us not conceding, if I'm honest.
If Vicario's back, you never know if Vicario's back.
Yeah, well, as long as they don't put crosses in.
Yeah, exactly. But
that might cause be sort of.
But we have to be positive though Sunday.
I reckon we'll do it.
If we can start getting some players back, and give some of these players a bit of rotation. I personally don't want to see all the youngsters kicked out. I think the youngsters have been the ones that have been holding it all together. For me, I think the key positions has got to be in the central midfield somewhere. For me, I think Maddison coming back. If we can get someone else back in defence and get Archie Gray maybe in the centre, and take out someone like Bissouma who's just not on it for me. I think personally, I think he can go. I think he can go.
You got to remember though, United have lost their best centre, 2 of their best centre backs now, or 3 maybe. I think Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez is out for the season, but I think Joran De Ligt might be out, so it could be a back three of Lindelof, Maguire, and Johnny Evans. So anything could happen.
I mean, I'd like to see Tell play in his position of centre forward. I was disappointed that Son was playing as the centre forward and Tell was on the left. I know he can play there, but for me, Son is not a striker. So you want to put Tell where he's most effective, and for me, I'd like to see him start there, and see where we go from there. Spence for me has got to be a starter as well. If Udogie's back, let's get Spence on the right hand side, and if need be, let's push Porro up. If Porro still has to play, push him up on the right side, and get him putting them balls in.
He played on the right side with Ryan Mason, didn't he? When we had Ryan Mason, he come in, scored against Leeds. I think he got 2 goals against Leeds. Whenever he goes forward, he's great. It's just his defensive work is for a.
That's what I'm saying. When Ange did that against Liverpool, he moved Spence to the right side ahead of Porro, and put Archie Gray at left back against Salah, which I thought was crazy. But for me, if you're going to do that, we should have changed it the other way. You know, you should have kept Spence at left back, moved Archie Gray to the right, and pushed Porro up. Because Porro, I thought, would have been more effective, and that's my point about using the players you've got available. You know, even Reggie. You know, get him on then. You know, get him on the left hand side. At least he is a left back, and he can do a left back job against someone like Salah.
Why didn't Reguilon go out in January? I've just remembered that. What is he? Is he?
I think he's just running his contract down because I think he'll go for free in the summer. So
is he at the end? Is he at the end of his contract?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, fair. Okay.
Anyway, guys, it's an hour and 7 minutes. I think we've done well to get through some really difficult conversation there.
I don't think we covered any of your notes, did we?
No, we did. I've highlighted most of them off. I think we got through it and covered off most of the things there. I didn't want to talk specifically about the games because I thought, there's no point in the specific games, but it's just interesting to kind of get some of these things off your chest. And say what you need to say. It's brilliant to have all the comments, loads of comments going in at the side. I couldn't read them, couldn't keep up with them, all coming in. So it's difficult from that point of view. But thanks to everyone who was watching as well. Really appreciate the support there.
Said before, though, mate, it's a great day out. It's the football that spoils it.
Exactly that. So, guys, to all of you in the chat, thanks very much for coming on. If you can share this video with someone, that helps the channel. If you can give us a like in the chat, if you can share it, all that kind of stuff, and get other people aware that we do this every Tuesday night, that would be really, really cool. Thanks for commenting and thanks for watching. We appreciate your support. Thanks to Alex and to Mason for coming in. Sorry that we couldn't see Dean tonight. He's stuck at work, having to work late, bless him. But he was with us in spirit. I'll see you two guys on Sunday, hopefully.
Sunday afternoon.
Are you going straight to the tour, are you?
Think so. We'll be dumping the car down at the Gilpin and then we'll be walking up. So we'll probably see you then. So I don't know what time it starts. 11, I think. I don't know how long it lasts for, actually. Okay. I should pay a bit more interest. But probably see us as we're dumping the car, mate.
Okay. I may have a wander around if you guys are and sort of around. I'll go and have a bit of a wander anyway. I think there's protests going on outside of the stadium, so it'd be interesting to see what's going on there. See how many people will actually turn up for that. Be interesting to see. So, but as I say, thanks everyone so much for coming on to the show. Thanks for being part of it. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one next Tuesday. Thanks for coming. See you again. Up the Spurs.
Up the Spurs. Tottenham.